and large number of the people reached to the pay their condolences through the TV, and some of them have reached to their homes also, including the Modi ji and Chief Minister of the Bihar. It is just to highlight that 1,000, as on today, 1,000 people are in our country dying because of the tuberculosis. No leader, whosoever he may be, expressing a single word about condolence about them. They are still dying. Every day 1,000 people have been added to the death itinerary of the dying patient of the tuberculosis. जब मोदी जी का जब डिस्क्रिप्शन आ रहा था तो मेरे को अच्छा लगा कि कम से कम एक आदमी तो सोचता था कि किसी गरीब को कैसे दवा मिले. And this great man, जब हम इनोवेशन की बात करते हैं, then the Robert Koch, everything starts with the Robert Koch, a real innovative person. When he declared discovery of the Mycobacterium tuberculosis on 24th March 1882, he said, now we know the causative organism of the tuberculosis and we will be able to control this disease within the span of a decade. वो उस समय की बात कर 1882 में था तो 1890 तक हम डिजीज को कंट्रोल कर लेंगे. दिस इज वाज द थिंकिंग ऑफ रॉबर्ट कॉक. बट अनफॉर्चुनेटली द पीपल हैव नॉट, नथिंग हैज हैपेंड इवन आफ्टर द डिस्कवरी. एंड दिस ग्रेट मैन, द रॉबर्ट कॉक, डाइड एंड ही वाज देन चूजन फॉर द नोबेल प्राइज इन ईयर 1905. He is the recipient of the Nobel Prize for the medicine in India. And this is the first publication. It is in the German language which Robert Koch has published his publication of the great discovery of Mycobacterium tuberculosis. So friends, I will be talking on touching some of, because it's really difficult to talk about the tuberculosis. There are so many aspects of the tuberculosis we can talk and discuss at length. So I will be keeping myself looking at the type of the people sitting here, because it is not a specialized gathering of a physician, chest physician or physicians, but it is including a gynecologist, orthopedic surgeons, and so many types of people. So a topic which I have chosen today, I'll be devoting some of the time on some of the aspect of the treatment of tuberculosis. And one very important aspect, treatment of tuberculosis in a special situation like diabetes mellitus, like renal failure, like a hepatic disease, like a pregnancy and lactating mother. And these are the important, because everybody is writing a prescription of tuberculosis. And every person come across, because we are running two epidemics simultaneously, epidemic of diabetes and epidemic of the tuberculosis and epidemic of, because all the three diseases are interconnected from each other. So it is really concern to all of us. So I will be devoting some time on that issues only. So let us start the tuberculosis. I am happy. A person, whenever fell ill and diagnosed tuberculosis, he will go for the treatment either to the government sector or to the private sector. Over the years, the government sector was badly running the things, but thanks to the World Bank, thanks to the WHO, that now the government sector have started doing well. At least the RNTCP, the revised National Tuberculosis Control Program, have created a technical manpower and given at least vision and so many things to the tuberculosis control program, and it is really helping to all those who are really poor and cannot afford the cost of the treatment. What about the private sector? As on today, almost 50 to 80% patient, क्योंकि हिंदुस्तान में गवर्नमेंट के बाहर गवर्नमेंट की चीज में कोई जाना नहीं चाहता कि बहुत ठीक से काम नहीं होता वहां पे. So as on today, the data speaks that 50 to 80% patients are going to the private sector. Especially in Indian subcontinent, ये जो जैसा हिंदुस्तान की कंडीशन है अभी, तो वी आर मच बेटर. आई हैव चांस टू विजिट 2-3 टाइम्स टू द बांग्लादेश. बहुत बुरी हालत है, क्योंकि यहाँ का जो टेक्निकल मैन पावर, मेडिकल मैन पावर, वी आर हाईली मोर प्रोफेशनल देन दैट ऑफ द मैन पावर, medical manpower in Bangladesh and in other countries. The similar, I have no chance to visit to the Pakistan, but so many friends are there in Pakistan. But I know that the anti-TB drugs, especially drugs for the multi-drug resistant tuberculosis, आज के दिन भी स्मगल होकर हिंदुस्तान से ही वहाँ पर जाती है. नहीं तो तब मिलती है, नहीं तो मिलती नहीं वहाँ. And this is what is the situation. So what about the private sector, condition of private sector? The international standard of TB care, which was there published, there data in the Lancet in year 2006, that performance of a private sector in several part of the world is far from satisfaction. Poor, because still the large number of the people are getting poor quality of the services. Why? What is happening? The happening is that as on today, the underuse of sputum smear microscopy. I said thanks to the RNTC, because at least they have created the qualified technical person to do the sputum microscopy. नहीं तो एक जमाना था हम लोग तरस जाते थे अच्छे टेक्नीशियन पर्सन के लिए कि कौन अच्छे से स्पुटम माइक्रोस्कोप का. And I am telling you, I am having the experience of this Varanasi city, that large number of the pathological center which are running the pathology labs are not doing a proper sputum microscopy. The second thing, over reliance on the radiography. Non-recommended drugs regimens with incorrect combination of the drugs. जितने डॉक्टर उतनी regimen. Somehow or other, the guidelines which are formed by the WHO, which was adopted. At one point I was being a secretary of Indian Chest Society, I raised this issue that we must create Indian guidelines, because we have created the Indian guidelines for COPD, Indian guidelines for the bronchial asthma. So I wanted that we must create Indian guidelines for the treatment of tuberculosis. So it was from the experts, they say that no need to create the Indian guidelines, because what we are following is given by the WHO, and WHO has given very clearly the treatment guidelines for the, very clearly they have given the treatment guidelines and how to go about the treatment of tuberculosis. So we must follow that WHO guideline. This is what is the when I raise this issue. But somehow or other, the physicians and it's not a physician are much better placed as for the treatment of tuberculosis concern. But my concern is that those people, those who are not physicians, say surgeons, they are supposed to write a prescription of tuberculosis. Gynecologists, they are supposed to write prescription of tuberculosis. Orthopedic surgeons, they are expected to write a prescription of tuberculosis. At times, a lacunae in the drug doses, at times individual things, individual preference of the drug, individual preference of the doses of the drug comes into the mind and led to the incorrect combination of the drug, incorrect doses of the drugs. Mistake in both the drug dose and duration of the treatment, and failure to supervise and assure adherence of the treatment. ये तो एक सबके अंदर कमी है. But once you write a domiciliary prescription, it is really difficult to follow a patient. RNTC ने जरूर से robust system शुरू किया है कि follow करना, लेकिन वहाँ भी कितना follow होता है, कितना फर्जी follow होता है. We know each all things, we should not come out with them. Now let us start something about what we are talking about, the treatment of tuberculosis. This is what is the regimens of the tuberculosis. 4 drugs for 2 months and followed by the 2 drugs for 4 months. 6-month regimen. WHO यही बात करता है. ये कितनी सही है अपने टाइप की सिचुएशन में? This is what is to be discussed. That is really correct when you are writing a prescription that write a 6-month prescription. क्योंकि once you are writing a prescription, you know never assured that all your patient is consuming each and every drug which you have written, and there are so many if and buts. This is what is the DOTS regimen. I will not go in the DOTS regimen, but the thrice weekly treatment. Now question comes, duration of the treatment. 6 months is okay, which means they said initial intensive phase for first 2 months, and followed by the 2 drug regimen, rifampicin and ICE for the 4 months. This is what is the exact scenario about the drug resistant type of the situation. यही सबसे alarming type की situation है, which at times call upon to revise so many things which was given by the WHO. because WHO जब भी देता है तो वर्ल्ड वाइड सोचता है, हम लोगों को अपने कंट्री के बारे में भी सोचना है. The situation in different studies, initial drug resistance का मतलब primary drug resistance and unknown and untold resistance. And they found that INS resistant up to the 33%. And you can initially up to the 30, there are different. There are studies which talks about 12%, there are studies 18%, there are studies 23%. So all these studies goes and now this is up to the 33%. One drug resistant up to the 35%. 2 drug resistance, simultaneously 2 drug resistance about 18%. And rifampicin and INH, which is MDR tuberculosis, what we call MDR. The resistant to the rifampicin and INH both exist, what we call is multi-drug resistant tuberculosis. So, why this initial resistance so high? The initial drug resistance is a strong risk factor for failure relapse and acquiring further drug resistance. यहीं पे वो बात आती जो मैं कहना चाह रहा हूँ. Whether to go for the 6-month therapy, to 4 drugs and 2 drugs, or whether to, because there are regimens and there are physicians which recommend that 3 drugs to in initial intensive phase, rifampicin, INH and pyrazinamide followed by the rifampicin and INH. So this is what issue we must think. This is what is 6-month regimen. Sorry. And what about the evidence-based medicine which we are having? Because as on today any physician, if you want to convince any physician about any drug, any regimen, anything in the medicine, you are supposed to create evidences. So evidences are that smear positivity at 2 months in category 1 is strongly associated with the treatment failure. Patients with a large bacillary load have an increased risk of the selecting resistant bacilli. Suppose a patient is having the cavity in lung, the probably chances that the large bacillary population is there, and in such type of the situation, the 2 months regimen may be incorrect, and there are chances that a treatment failure may take place. Even with the current regimen, new sputum smear positive patient with the heavy bacillary load showed poor sputum conversion rate. So this is what is the actual scenario. Now question comes, WHO said that you should go 3 drugs or 4 drugs in initial intensive phase. WHO talks about the 3 drugs, WHO at times talks about the 4 drugs also. तो हमको 3 ड्रग इनिशियल इंटेंसिव फेज में देना चाहिए या नहीं देना चाहिए, और दूसरा इनिशियल इंटेंसिव फेज का ड्यूरेशन क्या होगा. The WHO clearly states that countries with the primary resistance level to anti-TB drug is more than 2%, 4 drugs are to be given. तो यहाँ तो primary resistance level which we are having is much higher, much higher. So there is no question of using the 3 drugs in all regimen, whether gynecologist, whether bacillary disease, or whether the heavy load of the bacilli are there. 4 drugs are to be given. Now question comes, duration of initial intensive phase. There are people who gives 2 months regimen. WHO तो 2 महीने की बात करता है. But at times, I said about the evidence-based medicine that those who are heavy bacilli load, like cavity, it is always in a situation in which we are working up to the INS resistant up to the 33%, it is always better to give initial intensive phase. More than 2 months, at least we must take it to 3 months of time, depending on the special situation. About the continuation phase, why the WHO is recommending the 4 months, 6 month regimen? Because they recommend that each and every dose of the drug given in presence of the staff. लेकिन जब आप और मैं प्रिस्क्रिप्शन लिखते हैं तो कितने लोग कितनी दवा खाते हैं, कितने दिन नहीं दवा खाते, इसको कुछ याद. So one should be very careful and keep this into the mind. And it is always better whenever you are prescribing and you are failed to supervise the treatment. Probably it is always better to give a higher duration of a continuation phase than that of the 4 months. Now question comes whether to give the 2 drugs in a continuation phase or 3 drug continuation phase. Another issue. ये रोज हमारे सामने प्रॉब्लम आती है कि which either you use RNH, which where the WHO talks about, or whether to go for the RHE, rifampicin, INH and ethambutol. Since we have seen that the initial drug resistance is a 33% for the INH. एक INH दोगे, एक rifampicin दोगे, तो अगर मान लीजिए आपके 33% और 20% पेशेंट को भी INH रेसिस्टेंस है, then probably after 2 months your patient is being treated by a single drug rifampicin, which is strictly contraindicated as per our situation, as per the principle of treatment of tuberculosis is concerned. That never, in no case, a single drug is to be given. But practically patient is taking 2 drugs, but since he is harboring bacilli having the drug resistant to the INH, probably he is exposed to the single drug. So it will be always better to use instead of 2 drugs, 3 drugs regimen. Now I will be just touching upon some of these important special situations which are concerned to every one of us. क्योंकि since say diabetes mellitus, say hepatic disease, say renal failure and pregnancy, these are all these situations comes and demand. It is not uncommon. Every day you come across patient is having a genital tuberculosis, a female genital tuberculosis along with the diabetes mellitus. A female tuberculosis which is a pregnant lady or lactating mother. And it is not uncommon to find that a hepatic disease along with a tubercular disease. So let us start one by one. And I will be taking another 10 to 12 minutes only. We are sitting on the 2 epidemics. One is an epidemic of tuberculosis and another is the epidemic of diabetes. And both are having interrelationship, and I will be talking about the interrelationship. So there are tuberculosis high burden countries which are at the same time having the high burden of the diabetes as well, and these are the countries which are having the high burden both of tuberculosis and both of diabetes. The China, the India, the Brazil, the Bangladesh, Indonesia, Pakistan. These are the 10 countries as far as the diabetes is concerned, which are said to be being a capital, and already the future forecasts are there that tuberculosis is going to be the big, diabetes is going to be the big disease as far as our country is concerned. And we are already a very big country as far as the tuberculosis is there. So a two epidemic meeting and helping each other. And these are the number of patients. I will not go through the number because as on today, every year almost a crore of patients are developing tuberculosis in the world. और कम से कम 20 लाख लोग इस समय भी टीबी से मर रहे हैं. तो situation to Western, very similar type of the situation is coming up, not in Western countries, but in developing countries. What is the relationship between tuberculosis and diabetes? People with diabetes have 2 to 3 times higher risk of developing tuberculosis disease as compared to the people without diabetes. People with that tuberculosis and coexisting diabetes have 4 times higher risk of death during the TB treatment. The existing tuberculosis disease with the diabetes, the chances of mortality is 4 times a tuberculosis disease without diabetes mellitus. And this is one of the very important observation. The people with the tuberculosis and the coexisting diabetes are more likely to be sputum positive, take longer to become sputum negative. Tuberculosis is associated with the worsening of the glycemic control in people with the diabetes because of the certain drug have interaction with the diabetic control. So what is the exact cause that a diabetic patient is more prone to the tuberculosis? There are hereditary genetic causes, the immune derangement and functional and anatomical dysfunction. They have been identified which have been associated with the increase in the susceptibility of the pulmonary tuberculosis, and there is the immune derangement, neutrophilic function, lymphocyte function and the other immune function are deranged because of the diabetes mellitus. And there are diabetic autonomic neuropathy and the thickened alveolar epithelium, which ultimately lead to the increase in the chances of tuberculosis disease. What are the clinical features? A patient having the diabetes along with the tuberculosis, through the relative risk of developing pulmonary tuberculosis disease is higher in patient of diabetes mellitus. The diabetes mellitus as a group are more susceptible of having the more aggressive course of the tuberculosis, and clinical symptoms of pulmonary and extrapulmonary TB are similar as per in patient with diabetes. Comparatively less marked. In a diabetes, a patient is having less marked, more chances of sputum positivity and less symptomatic. And the most of the time, especially in a pulmonary tuberculosis to which we deal, the diabetic patient, whenever a lower lobe tuberculosis comes, a tuberculosis disease located in the lower zone or middle zone, probably we find that we must immediately speak to the junior resident that please search for the diabetes, because this is so common, and at times there are always chances that one may find either diabetes or something to do with the immunocompromised state in the patient. Sputum smear, the rate of positivity is higher in diabetic patients. What is the basic principle of the treatment? The proper care should be given. Patient with the poor diabetic control should be hospitalized for stabilizing their blood sugar level. Ideally, insulin should be given to use to the control of the sugar. Initially, always, कभी भी आप pulmonary tuberculosis or any tubercular disease associated with the diabetes mellitus, please admit for 3, 4, 5 days. Make him to learn, give the insulin, brought the sugar under control. Then gradually you can switch over to the oral hypoglycemic agent. The oral hypoglycemic should be used only in cases of mild diabetes. Drug interaction with the reform sheet should be kept into the mind, because Rifampicin being a cytochrome activator, it causes increase in metabolism of the anti-TB drug, especially the oral hypoglycemic drug. So there is a need to revise. If you are keeping your patient up with diabetes mellitus, with the tuberculosis on the rifampicin, please revise the anti-diabetic therapy. The treatment duration remains the same whether patient is a diabetic. What is required for the success of the treatment is the perfect diabetic control. The relapse rate after a short course of the TB treatment have been found to be similar for the TB patient with or without diabetes, and relapse occur at similar time interval. The management of the MDR tuberculosis in diabetes is a really tough and difficult, really tough. Is a similar but non-diabetic patient except for stringent and regular watch on the renal and liver function is required, and a perfect diabetic control is essential for the treatment. Relapse rate with the resistant disease is more common in diabetic patients than that of the non-diabetic patients. Option of the treatment, the preferred treatment is insulin. Either you can keep patient your insulin plus oral hypoglycemic or only oral hypoglycemic. The recommendation or the patient should be given on the insulin. Why we are worried? And I already said that we are sitting on the two epidemics. Two epidemics of diabetes and epidemic of tuberculosis are simultaneously exposed, and especially in a country like ours, one should be very worried and careful about both the epidemics, because we are very much concerned as a physician, as a chest physician, or whether whichever specialty you are. Now, extrapulmonary tuberculosis. Basically, the treatment of extrapulmonary tuberculosis, barring one or two type of the situation, remains the same as that of the pulmonary tuberculosis. Treatment regimen is the same, treatment duration is also same. But at times you got want to see that there are in certain type of the situation one should have take the precautions. The streptomycin should replace ethambutol when treating a CNS tuberculosis, because ethambutol is not able to cross the blood-brain barrier, and should be immediately, whenever you are treating a patient of tuberculosis, a tubercular meningitis or CNS tuberculosis, probably it is very important that we must stop this ethambutol. The corticosteroid may be useful in some form of the extrapulmonary disease, which we should, whenever required, it is to be given. And there is one thing, there is a need to extend, I said, except barring two diseases, the meningeal tuberculosis and bone and joint tuberculosis, a treatment duration to be increased. Rest, all other situation, the treatment which you are giving otherwise for the pulmonary tuberculosis is the same. The treatment duration for bone and joint tuberculosis may be anywhere 9 to 12 months. For the CNS tuberculosis, it is again 9 to 12 months. So a duration of the treatment should be increased. Risk of the mother and fetus is far greater than from the, because at times you find a mother, every day mother is coming, a pregnant lady के साथ हमने pregnant हो गए तो हमने दवा छोड़ दी क्योंकि बच्चे का नुकसान होता है. And this is a very common type of the presentation and coming patient come that we left the treatment, that is why our tuberculosis have increased. It is a part of the responsibility of the gynecologist to emphasize on the patient that look here, that the drugs which your patient is taking, the drugs which the patient is taking is not going to harm either to the mother or to the child. And what is the risk? Risk due to the tuberculosis? Increased risk of the spontaneous abortion, increase in perinatal mortality, small for gestation of age of the childbirth, increased maternal mortality. There are chances of congenital tuberculosis. And I said all the 4 drugs, RNTCB revised National Tuberculosis Control Program recommend that all the 4 drugs, the rifampicin, the INH, the ethambutol and pyrazinamide can be safely used in a pregnant or lactating mother. But the American Thoracic Society, the European Respiratory Society still recommend that pyrazinamide should be avoided. But so far we have been using these drugs in a pregnant lady for over the years, and I am telling you, none toxicity ever been reported by the pyrazinamide. That is why probably the RNTCB recommend in our type of the situation, because we never go for the 3 drug regimens. We always go for the 4 drug regimen. The supplement, what is required? That supplement with the pyridoxine, estromycin should be avoided. Monitor for the signs of hepatotoxicity during the pregnancy and lactation. What about the lactation? One thing I am telling you, most of the anti-TB medications are secreted in breast milk. Though it is not a significant level, but they are secreted. आप presence of these drug आप बहुत अच्छे से डिटेक्ट कर सकते हो breast milk में. So, though it is less, 1 to 12% of the drug is there. Now, whether because this is again question posed, कि बच्चे को दूध पिला सकते हैं कि नहीं पिला सकते? A tubercular mother on anti-TB drug come and pose this question. If a sputum positive mother, the recommendation is that the child should be separated from the mother, except for the feeding purposes. The child can be brought to the mother only, but should not share the same room as that of the mother. But the drug is being secreted in the breast milk. But they are not going to harm to the child. The levels are not likely to lead any toxicity into the infants. And one thing very clearly, आप ये मत समझ लेना कि चलो कोई बात नहीं, टॉक्सिसिटी नहीं कर रहा, लेकिन कुछ प्रोटेक्शन तो बच्चे को दे देता ब्रेस्ट मिल्क से. आई एम सॉरी, it is not providing, it is not to that level to provide that protection to the child. Though it is secreted in breast milk, but it is not providing any such protection. अगर आपको देना है उसको, चाइल्ड को देना है, तो प्रोफाइलेटिक थेरेपी दीजिए आप उसको. As supplement, a mother with the B6 while breastfeeding. A lactating mother should receive ATT in full doses and full duration of the treatment. Now, very interesting. Hepatic disease. हर दिन we come across a toxicity developing by the hepatic drugs is one issue, and treating a patient having the hepatic disorder. What are the hepatotoxic drugs? The first line, which is the most hepatotoxic? Pyrazinamide, most hepatotoxic. The INH, second hepatotoxic, and rifampicin is third. Why rifampicin is third? आप कहोगे साहब ये तो rifampicin तो बहुत toxicity करता है. INH is safe, but I am telling you, when given in a situation, in a hypothetical situation, when rifampicin given individually, a single drug which is contraindicated in a tuberculosis patient, but think that in a hypothetical situation when rifampicin is given is a lesser toxicity than that of the INH. The second line drugs, ethanolamide is hepatotoxic, prothionamide is hepatotoxic, PAS is hepatotoxic, but cycloserine is a non-hepatotoxic. The kanamycin, capreomycin is a non-hepatotoxic drugs. Quinolones, another very important group of the drugs to be given in a patient, are safer drugs, comparatively safer in hepatic disorder. Now, when you take a precaution, suppose your patient use standard, suppose your patient come with the history that he is the hepatitis B carrier, or he had a history of acute hepatitis a year back or 2 years back, or he is alcoholic, इस टाइप की सिचुएशन में बिकॉज ए पोटेंशियल लिवर हेपेटिक डिसऑर्डर, what type of the precaution you will take? In such type of situation, you may not use all the three hepatotoxic drugs, rifampicin, INH, and pyrazinamide. Instead of use two hepatotoxic. सबसे जो highly hepatotoxic drug है pyrazinamide, you withdraw. And your regimen may be the streptomycin, rifampicin, ethambutol, and INH, followed by the INH and rifampicin. So revise, pyrazinamide should be withdrawn and replaced by the streptomycin. Suppose a patient come with the existing hepatic disease, कि साहब hepatitis है, hepatitis C है, hepatitis, so many type of hepatitis are there. Or patient is cirrhotic, or he is having tuberculosis. In such type of the situation, only one hepatotoxic drug is to be given, and which drug you will give? The better drug is the INH. So use a regimen having with the streptomycin, INH and ethambutol, or if you wish, add one quinolone, and followed by the old days regimen when rifampicin was not introduced, followed by the 10 months INH and ethambutol. At times you are called upon the permanent hepatitis, having the tuberculosis as a life-saving measure. बहुत अच्छे से हम लोगों को we are called upon at times, called to the medicine department that look here, this is having a typical tubercular focus or tubercular meningitis, or you are supposed to treat and he is having the hepatic disorder, patient is severely hepatitis. In such type of the fulminant type of the situation, non-hepatotoxic drug to be used. A regimen is to be formed without any hepatotoxic. All the three drugs are to be avoided. एक और टाइप की सिचुएशन, ड्रग इंड्यूस हेपेटाइटिस, वेरी कॉमन टाइप ऑफ द सिचुएशन. 3 to 4% patient which we are starting the antidote develop the hepatotoxicity. When we call hepatotoxicity, a patient having the symptomatic 3 times the SGOT, SGPT level is 3 times of the normal, and a asymptomatic patient having the 5 times SGOT, SGPT level. Then we say that no hepatotoxicity exists because there is a normal increase in the level of hepatic enzymes. It is normally reach 70, 80, 74, 60 in a normal, which may not demand even the stop of the treatment. And what you will do is stop all anti-TB drugs and evaluate the patient. Try to rule out other causes of acute liver disease. If severely ill due to the tuberculosis, then start 3 non-hepatotoxic drugs, one by one. And if it is not, then wait for some time. Let the enzyme level settle down for 10 to 15 days. And when to restart the regimen? When enzymes level come lesser than 2 times, 80 के नीचे आ जाए SGOT, SGPT level, probably this is the indication कि 70 हो गया, 65 हो गया, 60 हो गया. One can think for starting the anti-TB drug. And how you will start? The first start, re-challenge one by one by the lesser toxic drug. सबसे कम टॉक्सिक ड्रग को सबसे पहले देंगे और ज्यादा टॉक्सिक ड्रग को सबसे बाद में देंगे. And this is what is the method of restarting the anti-TB drugs in a drug-induced hepatitis. At times, though it is a rare, not very common type of the situation everybody come across, a renal failure, you are called upon to write a prescription. A patient having the, say, spinal tuberculosis along with the renal failure, what precaution you will take in such type of the situation? Friends, rifampicin and pyrazinamide are safe. They are excreted not by the kidney with the help of liver and the GI tract. can be given safely in normal required dosage in patient even a severe renal disease. दो drug, rifampicin and pyrazinamide. INH का almost 10 to 20% component is secreted by the renal component. So one should be very careful when you are coming across a severe renal disease, streptomycin and ethambutol. One should be very cautious while using the drug. क्या caution लेंगे, कब लेंगे? And this is to be regulated by the glomerular filtration rate. The normal GFR is anywhere 116, 120, 110 to 120 per minute. Whenever your liver function is, renal function is compromised, but still it is more than 50 ml and 50% the renal function intact hai, then you can always think for the giving all anti-TB drugs safely. Even the streptomycin is safe in such type of the situation. But if GFR is lesser than 30 ml, anywhere lesser than 30, then our patient is on hemodialysis. One should be very careful while starting the doses or to be reduced. And the situation called upon when the GFR is lesser than a severe renal disease, a GFR is lesser than 10 ml per minute, probably it is a severe type of the situation and one needs to take care of by, if you are at all called upon to write a prescription in such type of situation, which is a rare type of the situation, but even then we are expected at times to come and write a prescription. So one should write a prescription having the lesser and reduced dose. So friends, these are the important situations we have talked about. The point which I again wish to raise, that still the treatment, the diagnosis of tuberculosis still will depend on age-old method of sputum microscopy. Thanks to the huge research being done, and now we are having certain methods for the diagnosis, like a gene expert, the LPA, the other method which are really good and coming up with nicely. We still depend on the last anti-TB drug was discovered way back in 1960, rifampicin, and I am happy to announce, probably you know that a new anti-TB drug has been introduced which WHO has recommended for multi-drug resistant tuberculosis. The Bordequins, though it is very toxic, though still it is toxic, but it's a new drug have come after a long wait of almost 60 years, which WHO has accepted and recommended. And there is an innovation of the treatment of tuberculosis which is being done by the Cadila. It is for you to see it, whether it is useful or not. I think with this remark, I will end my talk. Thanks for patience hearing. Thank you very much. I welcome any question on the subject which I talk about. Problem which we should share, and we should try to, and your experience make me more knowledgeable about the disease process, and your experience make us more helpful for the patients, and our experience, our knowledge about the disease process, we can help you out also.